Organisations are spending record amounts on mental health programs that are failing to deliver. And the reason they're failing to deliver is because they're designed for a workplace that no longer exists. I'm Paul Hannam, and for over 35 years I've worked as an organisational psychologist, academic, author and CEO. And in this video I want to explain how we got into this predicament and what you must do before it is too late. And there is real urgency here as we're facing a perfect storm. AI disruption, economic volatility, political chaos and chronic anxiety are colliding simultaneously. And most organisations have little idea how to lead through it. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the real impact of this crisis on your performance and above all the terrible toll it is taking on your people. And then I'll recommend the exact strategy to future-proof your workplace so your employees don't just survive the storm but thrive through it. We've entered what I call the Age of Flux. An age of relentless disruption, perpetual instability and chronic uncertainty. This is the new norm. The world is shifting faster than people or organisations can adapt. What once felt solid, job roles, career paths, organisational structures, has dissolved into something fluid, undefined and impossible to pin down. But flux isn't necessarily chaos, it's the new baseline. It's a permanent state of transition where yesterday's solutions don't solve today's problems, and today's skills won't be enough for tomorrow. Within this instability lies extraordinary potential, but only if you and your people are prepared for it. Because survival won't go to the strongest or the most resourced, it will go to the most adaptable. Those who pivot when the ground shifts, who stop clinging to how it should be and act on how it is. Because here's the hard truth. The mindset and skills that got you here won't get you where you need to go. We cannot ignore the big picture. We must acknowledge that we're living in a period of great upheaval and great risk. On January the 28th, 2026, the doomsday clock moved to 85 seconds before midnight, the closest it has ever been since 1947, and midnight is the point at which Earth becomes uninhabitable. This is the sobering yet accurate assessment of a group of experts, including 9 Nobel laureates, of where we are today as a civilization. Politically, we're in the most volatile period since 1945. We're witnessing wars, threats to democracy, mass migration, rising autocracy, the weakening of NATO and the United Nations, and an emerging world order that's very different to the one that kept us secure for 80 years. Economically, we face serious cost of living crises, trade wars, unprecedented global debt, collapsing consumer confidence, corporations are hiring less and millions of graduates are unemployed. Socially, there's rapidly rising inequality, the erosion of trust, deepening polarisation, weaker communities and disinformation weaponised by inflammatory social media algorithms. And environmentally, we're accelerating towards ecological and climate breakdown. We're living in what we can call a polycrisis, where all global crises are reinforcing each other. Economic fear fuels stress, political division erodes trust, climate anxiety compounds overwhelm, social isolation weakens resilience. And all of these crises are infiltrating our organisations. They infiltrate the minds, the emotions and the nervous systems of your people. So your employees aren't just managing their workload, they're managing a world that feels like it's unravelling. HR leaders and mental health professionals everywhere are saying the same thing. People aren't coping, they're just better at hiding it. We've created a culture where looking okay matters more than being okay. And then there's AI. If the Polycrisis weren't enough, we're now facing a technology that's so disruptive it could be the most transformative force in human history, and also the most destructive. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, claimed that AI has the potential to be more transformative than electricity or fire. Tens of millions of jobs will disappear in the next few years, especially amongst knowledge workers. Yes, there'll be new roles and opportunities that will emerge, but here's what's happening right now. Your people are scared. They're not just scared of losing their jobs, but also losing their relevance, their purpose, and their sense of control in a world being rewritten by technology most don't understand and none can influence. And this fear is justified, because the question is not whether AI will transform your workplace. It will. The question is, how ready are you and your people to adapt? In my own field of work, in organisational coaching and training, I'm seeing far higher rates of chronic stress, depression, anxiety and burnout than I've ever seen in the 35 years I've been practicing. And multiple studies confirm that we are facing an unprecedented mental health crisis. It shows up in the human cost of low energy, irritability, disengagement, presenteeism, mistakes and sickness. And it shows up in the financial cost of absence, lost productivity and higher employee turnover and recruitment costs. The World Health Organization estimates approximately $1 trillion a year is lost globally due to depression and anxiety through reduced productivity alone. This crisis is on a completely different scale to anything we've seen before. And for the first time, we're not just dealing with a handful of individuals in crisis, we have entire teams running on empty. The standard playbook, employee assistant programs, wellness webinars, optional mindfulness sessions is simply inadequate. Your people don't need more information. They need a comprehensive, systematic program that works at multiple levels. They need daily practices that regulate their nervous systems and their emotions. They need tools to manage overload. They need supportive leaders and systems, and a culture that encourages empathy, connection, and meaning. But here's the truth that most executives are still avoiding. The mental health crisis isn't separate from your performance challenge. It is your performance challenge. You see, this is what I really want to emphasize. There's a fundamental mismatch between human capacity and the demands of the age of flux. We are simply not equipped physically, psychologically, cognitively to flourish at the unrelenting speed, intensity and scale of change that the modern workplace is now demanding. If we want to not just cope but thrive, we must upgrade human capacity itself. We need to reinvent ourselves for the new world we've entered. Just as AI transforms knowledge work, human advantage will increasingly lie in what machines cannot replicate: creativity, empathy, collaboration, and above all, wisdom. The wisdom to discern what matters most, to balance competing priorities, to act decisively despite uncertainty, to distinguish signal from noise, and to flourish through ambiguity with integrity, clarity, and confidence. This needs a whole new approach, as the demands on your people have outgrown their current toolkit. They all need better emotional regulation, not just in crises, but continuously. They need stronger cognitive flexibility, more stable energy and attention. They need the psychological flexibility to adapt to uncertainty rather than collapse under it. Organisations spend millions upgrading systems, technology and processes, but the one thing that determines whether those upgrades actually work is the inner capability of the humans using them. Human capacity is now your competitive advantage. So let's now turn to what we need to do. How do we build human capacity? And I believe that the way forward is a systematic mental fitness strategy. Not mental health treatment, not wellness perks. No, mental fitness is building your cognitive and emotional capability and conditioning. It's the daily practices that build resilience, focus, and performance under pressure. Think of it like physical fitness. You don't wait until you're sick to start exercising. You build strength before you need it. And mental fitness is preventative. It strengthens your capacity to handle stress, maintain clarity during chaos, and bounce back from setbacks or failure. Mental fitness is systematically upgrading 3 core capacities that we all need. The first of these is resilience. The ability to remain calm and grounded under pressure, being persistent and showing grit, bouncing back from adversity. It's maintaining high energy, motivation and performance, whatever is thrown at you. Secondly is emotional regulation. Managing your moods, maintaining balance, cutting through noise to think clearly and maintaining concentration, and building and maintaining strong relationships. And thirdly, it's psychological flexibility, to continuously adapt and learn, to cultivate a growth mindset and embrace change. When you enjoy high levels of mental fitness, you perform better, you handle stress better, collaborate better and recover faster. When you have low levels of mental fitness, these capacities are weaker. Everything becomes harder, no matter how talented, intelligent or motivated you are. Those organisations that invest in mental fitness strategically won't just survive the next decade, they'll outperform those that don't. Because in 2026 and beyond, your strongest competitive advantage is a workforce that can think, feel and function at a higher level, no matter what challenges they face. So you have to ask yourself this question: are you preparing your workforce for the world that they're actually living in, or the world you wish still existed? Now, nobody can predict the future. Nobody can control the economy, society or technology. The only thing we can control is how we respond, how we think, how we manage our emotions and how we take action. And the best way to do this is to future-proof your organisation and build the mental fitness of your people. But the window to build this capacity is closing. So will you invest in your people's mental fitness now, or keep demanding they perform beyond their current capacity until something breaks? The choice is yours.